Hey there, it's your buddy Phil, project manager, job seekers. I hope you're doing well. It's 2023. Let's go get it. You're looking for a job, you're looking for a position. This is a podcast that will help you be able to do that. That will help you fine-tune your focus so that you'll put your best foot forward when you apply for that job. Let's take a look at what we have. 3 questions for today. Thank you very much for your question about the resume. So here's the deal. When you are applying for a position, you got to put your best foot forward. So if you played a particular role, let's say you played the role of a project manager or a program manager, but your resume says project coordinator, how does that get you into the door? So you got to take a risk that is a truthful, honest risk in saying this is the role I played versus this is my title. There's a difference between role and title. And a lot of people are shortchanging themselves by putting titles. Ain't nobody interested in title. Think about it. If your title says VP of strategy and all you're doing is moving boxes in a basement, how does that help the recruiter when you say VP of strategy, but you were moving boxes in a basement? You don't know any strategy. You know what I mean? So there's got to be balance. You got to balance up whatever the title was with what you actually did. And if you are actually doing a lot more than, in quote, just leading a team, you're building strategy, you're working on multiple interrelated projects, I leave it up to you to decide what is ethical. Because if you were indeed playing the role of a program manager, a portfolio manager, a project manager, and all you put is team lead, how does that help the recruiter? How does that help you? So you need to decide. You need to take the risk. Now, someone might say, but Phil, my LinkedIn title says this, and my resumes. I leave it up to you. If you want to take a calculated risk that is in all honesty, that makes sense, by all means, go ahead and do it. But if you're still shortchanging yourself and playing small by giving yourself the title, then it's up to you. I do not see anything dishonest in saying this is the role I played. So you can make it clear on the resume by saying role. There's a difference between role and title. Everyone knows this. Even for the PMP exam, people know that there's a difference between title and role. And that's why a lot of people who have titles other than project manager are even allowed to take the PMP exam. So, job role. A job role is the function you fill within your organization. It differs from your title in that your title is just a label that your employer has given you, whereas your role is exactly what you do. Okay? The title is what HR has put on you. HR ain't the people doing the job of moving volumes of project and millions of dollars. So you got to be smart when you put your best foot forward in a job interview or on a resume. Okay? Someone was talking to a buddy and said, "What's your current role?" And this individual said, "I'm the director of this new initiative." And if you look at the title of this person, it's team lead. So you need to ask yourself, what is the value to the recruiter? What is the value to myself that I am putting forward? And how is this going to help me? Because if all you're putting forward is the title, you are not going to get very far with that, I can assure you. Especially if the title is not on par with the role. In some instances, the role is on par with the title. That's fine. But where you have such a huge gulf, a huge gap, your best foot forward is not the title. Your best foot forward is the role. See, I was reading a story on LinkedIn, and someone was saying a year back they attended a seminar on technology and they met some industry famous individuals, titles like senior VP, VP, director, senior manager, and all that. And everyone was trying to impress with their titles. But when this individual asked them, what are your core roles and responsibilities? You know what most of them said? They said, this and this and this. And it didn't add up to all the lofty titles. Director, VP, SVP, and all that. But in some instances, it does match up. But this individual was sharing how titles can sometimes help others understand positions, and in some instances, it does not. In fact, it shortchanges what you actually can do. So you got to be smart when you're going for a new opportunity. You need to make it clear, this is my role, my title, something else, but this is my role. And it's the role that you want to put on the resume. That's what you want the recruiter and the hiring manager to know. Okay? Now, other questions that I got today in the world of job applications is, how do you use a brief version of your resume versus an actual full-blown firepower resume? And it's this. If I feel that it's an executive role where very little information is needed to convey where I've been, who I am, the amount of dollars I've done, hundreds of millions of dollars or whatever, I use a brief. And executives like briefs. They don't like big old winded dog and pony shows. Now, if I'm working through an agency and I put my brief forward and they say, you know what, can we have a longer version? I give them both. But if I'm applying for that role, so be it. I put my brief forward, and if my brief piques their interest, I get the interview, and after they call me in for the interview, if they ask for more information, I could present a longer version, or I could just narrate the longer version in the interview. But it's like you got an opportunity to catch people's attention quick. With a brief, it's got your professional headshot, it's got all your contact and the high level of your education, it's got the high level of your skills and abilities, and it's got the high level of your most current role. Maybe last two, no more than the last two. Ain't nobody interested in what you did 20 years ago. Don't waste time. Don't put it on your resume. So keep it brief and use the brief to your advantage, especially in high-powered positions. Okay? Now, I got another question in, and my student asked, I've identified company X as a targeted employer. Any hints on how to get in there, considering it's highly sought after? Well, I'll just say that every sought-after company has its replica somewhere else that is equally sought after, but people get in there. So what am I saying? There are hundreds of companies that are sought after, and nothing precludes you from getting in there. So my advice would be to study the particular unit in that company, down to that specific business unit. Understand what they are about. Understand who the key players are. And when you have a good understanding of what they do or what they want, let's say they are big in software as a service, right? My recommendation is for you to go study that thing. For you to go do a very quick course. LinkedIn is always an option, right? Get on LinkedIn, knock out a software as a service course, consume all the software as a service information that you can, get on the web, do your research. Now, this student in question is a researcher, so go on the web, do some research, and find all you can about this topic. Now, I know you already have some experience, but you may want to make your language a little bit more robust on the resume. And that goes back to tailoring your resume for the application you are going for. Don't leave your resume same old resume for each application. You got to tweak it. So the words that are near and dear to that business unit or that company, you got to put SAS in there all the way through if that's what you're going for. If you're going for strategy role, you got to put strategy and business language and relevance in there. So one of the mistakes a lot of people make is they're sending resumes to people who are looking for something specific. And those resumes that they're sending have not been tailored to the industry or the business or the company. How do you think you're going to get that? How do you think you're going to get that role? You won't. So my advice to you is to craft each resume going with the application according to the position. Does that make sense? All right, my friends. Well, those are the 3 questions I got from students today. If you are looking to apply for a role or position, I want to know if you've got questions. If you've got questions, I need you to send them in, put them in the comment below, or just go on to Praizion.com and look for the vehicles there where you can send them, like info@Praizion.com. Send them to us. My buddy Roy and I will get to them, and we'll see you in another episode. You take care. Bye for now.